I'm here. Hello. Hello, you guys. Welcome to the industry. Happy Friday. I am so excited to be here. It is officially Christmas in the It's Exo Gingy office. It is officially Christmas. I'm so excited. So we have an amazing episode as always for you guys today. We have Jamesine and Trajan coming on, which I will introduce in a second. Pardon?
Fine.
I don't know if I'll be able to say, I'm going to butcher your name, but we'll deal with that one after. We're going to have a fun episode today. It is Christmas in the industry studio, AKA my office, and an announcement for everyone tuning in, whether you're here live or on the replay. Next week is going to be our final industry episode of the year. We're going to take a break for the holidays. So that is just quite exciting. So if you're here and you're live with us, please say hello in the chat. It has been so cool since last week to see a lot more of you being inside of this group and being on the lives. And I can tell from all your comments that you guys are really loving this series. So if you're new inside of the group, I'm so excited that you're here. The industry series is the main and most exciting thing that happens inside this Facebook group. The purpose of this show every week is to bring on some really incredible guests, some really incredible coaches that are in the industry, and most happen to be in our community, which is pretty fabulous, to have some great conversations, to bring you guys loads of value. And I will hand out the invitation as well. If you've been watching for the last couple of weeks or the last 12 weeks now, and you want to be a guest, feel free to message the team. So you can message Team Exo Gingy. You should see their profile and just say, hey, I want to be on the industry. We'd more than likely be happy to have you. And it's always cool to bring on different kinds of people. And I want to get to know you, and I want to be able to share you with the community. And that's the point of this. So anything else before we get started? No? Okay, we're gonna get right into it, and we're gonna have Jamesine come up first. Jamesine, I'm so excited because I feel like it's been a while since you and I have had like a one-to-one conversation. So come on up and please introduce yourself, anything that you feel like you want to share, and then we can dive into whatever it is that you want to chat about today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for this invitation and this great opportunity. I have to start with a little story because I just think that this is so relevant, because vision is one of my big things. And so I had said to my team and to my mastermind group, hey, I'm going to reach out to Steph and I'm going to share with her these things that I've been sharing with you that I really haven't shared anywhere else. And I was so excited because I felt like this is the place where I'm meant to first launch this. It has so much meaning to me because my relationship with you, because of the work that you're doing, the way that you step up continually is so in my DNA, that rigor, that level of excellence that you have. And so I was not even an hour later, I got a text from Andy saying, would you like to be a guest on the show? And I was like, oh my God, yes. And I said to her, if only you knew the synchronicity of this, because I had just put it out into the universe. I had sat down and I thought, where is this meant to go? I was like, oh my God, of course, the industry. And what I'm about to share, I'm going to traverse a couple of timelines. This not only was there that beautiful synchronicity of the invitation and me thinking the thought and that happening so quickly, but this goes back to when I was 12 years old, and that's 1971. And I don't mind sharing my age because I don't look my age. But in 1971, I was 12 years old, and I had this vision. There were no computers at the time. I had a vision of all of these women on what looked like a TV screen. And there was a key, what I now know as a keyboard, down below it. And that was the first PC. But I was seeing it at 12 years old. And I saw all these women from around the world, and they spoke different languages, but we could all understand each other because it was all coming out to me in English, and it was coming to them in their language. And that, I know that's coming. I know that's coming shortly. And I knew that those visions were telling me that I had something really powerful that I was going to be doing in the world. And that is so true. You know, the level at which I've played my life and that I continue to do that. And one of the reasons why I wanted to share my age is because, you know, this is book 2 for me. You know, I have another 40 years of massive impact on this planet. And it's coming with all of this wisdom that I've gained. And I keep saying to women my age, you know, you can't shut down now. And I see women in their 30s and 40s shutting down. And I just want to say, keep waking up because it just gets better. So
I'm obsessed. I love this.
So, so the vision that I have, you know, it's that Steve Jobs quote that you can only see your life in the dots that you connect as you look back. And as I look back at my life and all of the many careers that I've had, which make me the multidimensional human that I am. And we are all of us, everyone in your coaching group, anyone listening to this is a multidimensional being, right? They're operating at a body, mind, heart, spirit, soul, and creator level, right? We're birthing things into the world that have never existed before. We're bringing the unknown, unseen into the known, seen world from the sort of celestial realms. And that's the world that the internet exists in. It exists without wires. It exists in the heavenly realms. And it's an energetic, vibrational world. So things travel at the speed of light, as we all know. But there's something that's happening for coaches that's just about to happen. In particular, I'd say for coaches, and in particular for women coaches, because I work with a lot of men's coaching groups and a lot of male coaches. But and they're so happy for us, by the way, that this is happening for us. And, you know, it's the thing that the Dalai Lama said, the women of the Western world are going to save the world. And this is how we're doing it. We're doing it through our work in the world, because work touches everything. And we have lived in a time of thousands of years of unconscious destruction. And we are all conscious creators. And we're creating new forms of education and edification and entertainment with the work that we do. And so I want to share this little picture for about 5 minutes of of literally what my lifelong vision is now coming into clarity. And so, you know, if you're sitting on something, ladies, it's taken me 51 years to understand that vision that I had when I was 12 years old, right? And half a century. I think about that and it's just mind-blowing. And so I kind of want to paint a picture for everybody of what's happening. And I'll start with the entertainment industry, which is an industry that I've played in very heavily, very strongly. I created the celebrity award show gift baskets, those gift baskets that were $40 to $120, even $150,000 a piece for presenters and performers at all the award shows. And, you know, I shouldn't have gotten that gig. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just had the ability to go in and communicate a vision to 13 men at Dick Clark Productions. And they said yes to me in that meeting. Well, they were thrilled to say yes to me. They were so excited. I mean, I painted such a great picture. And I'd already been an actress and a writer in Hollywood. And so I worked with over 4,000 brands, leading brands, negotiated large deals, put these gifts in the bags, and got massive amounts of press for them. And this was all like, I just was the vehicle for all of this genius to come through. And and I worked with every celebrity and I worked with every large brand. I mean, Apple would send me things before they even went to stores. And I had a house up in the Hollywood Hills that was open 24/7, and celebrities would come up and, at all times in the night or day. And I had a store, and I had in my house, and I had been selling clothing, jewelry, and accessories to TV shows and celebrities in New York and LA for quite a long time. And I had over, 400 brands at a time, like top designers and emerging designers as well. And so I had a huge impact in a niche world, let's say. And I saw where things were going. And when I did that, those celebrity gift bags, I began to put books and introduce people into the gift bags. So Don Miguel Ruiz, Deepak Chopra, so many authors. And then I was connected to all of the talk shows, and from the Tonight Show to Oprah and everything in between. And they would gift my bags to the audience or portions of the bag. And I mean, it was a massive PR blitz, and it was a very successful business. And then I sold that, and I went on to do some pretty cool things in coaching. And I've been coaching for 36 years when it wasn't even a thing in LA. In LA, one of the most trend-setting places in the world, I was one of the first coaches. And I worked specifically with women with a product called Women's Unlimited Network by Terry Cole Whitaker, who was a spiritual mentor, guru. And then I began to coach men. I had 4 startups after that. Just can't stop. And so all of those things, all those careers have combined to give me these various insights. And so we're seeing, this is my next insight, and I'm going to bring it all together. What we're seeing in the world of entertainment is there are no more celebrities. There will be no more stars, because you can't sell tickets to movies. And a film's success is determined by the first weekend. How much money did it make in the first weekend? And when 5 or 6 people can see a movie on essentially what's one ticket, right? They're watching it on a Netflix or an Amazon or whatever. You're just not going to see the financial return that a blockbuster movie needs in order to recoup its investment for its investors. So, and Jennifer Aniston has already said celebrity is dead. And we can all see it. And we can see its demise too, because of the seediness of it, because of its own insidiousness. It's eating itself alive. So that cult or culture of celebrity is gone, but something's got to replace it. And, advertisers and brands are looking for collaboration partners. And who is most primed or poised to be in the position to partner with these companies are coaches. We're sharing information that is native to us. It's part of our genius. And I know that you're the only person that has talked about this. I have looked on the scene. There are people that have touched on it a bit. Even Melanie has, but you're the person who's touched on it more than anybody that I've seen out there. And I'm pretty dedicated on a daily basis to going and looking at what people are posting, what other coaches are posting, from the perspective of being a trendsetter and a watcher of like these various cultures and seeing where things are going from a visionary perspective. And so, I mean, I probably look at 300 to 400 coaches' stuff at least a day.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's my business. And
I'm just gonna say, like, I love this, and I'm like having a full circle moment with you right now, because like when we first connected a few years back, it's just kind of like you never know why you connect with someone, and now you sharing all of that, your experience, what you're seeing, and what I'm talking about too, of like there's something about coaches having a reality TV show, there's something about coaches being famous, there's something about that, like because I'm seeing what you're seeing too, obviously from two different lenses and perspectives, but the fact that we're both seeing it and very openly talking about it, there's something here.
Oh my gosh, it's so huge. And I see the full picture. We are not going to have the way that networks have looked. Network TV in America is going to go away. We're not going to have TV stars anymore, because if you have 250 to 500,000 people watching a show on network TV, and you've got 1 to 20 million people on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, with a single contributor from, Okanagan or Ottawa or something, sharing their genius. Well, there's just no competition. We exist in a talent pool right now, and there are already like secret spies looking for you. There are brand managers, there are CEOs, there are visionaries out there, and it doesn't even matter how big your list is. No. If you've got talent and they see that, these collaborations are going to be the wave of the future. We're going to see these massive collaborations. And I'm not talking about opportunities like what Instagram is offering in terms of, working with brands. That is small baby stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Sony not having the ability to put movies out, having to make a profit. And where are they going to go? They're still so dumb. I'm going to say it. They are just dumb. And I'm so excited because my connections in Hollywood with agencies and studios and things is just about to get lit. And, I know I'm not the only one that's going to play in this space, but I know once again, I'm going to be a pioneer. This vision that I'm getting is coming together. And I exist in your world with all these coaches. And it's a full circle moment for me too, because when I joined at the time, I didn't have the clarity around this that I now do. And I was even reaching out to you, and I was seeing how, because it's how my lens works. It's like a camera lens, and it's like, zzz, 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 and it's just kind of focusing in on things, and I could see where you were going, and I can see where you're going now. And, network TV does not offer a handsome sum for a talk show. It just doesn't. It's not. You're making more money as a coach than you would make likely as a talk show host. But there's a whole world that's about to open of networks that we've never even seen before. And TikTok's leading the way because they are in business. Whereas YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram have failed to really monetize their platforms. And Meta hasn't taken off in the way that Facebook thought it would. And that's no accident, because they're not innovators. They are not innovating, but TikTok is innovating. And they partnered with Google so that they have a search engine. They partnered with WooCommerce, and they're going to bring, you're going to be able to do commerce on on the platform. You're going to be able to sell things. So we're going to see a hybrid of like an Amazon, think like Amazon and a network. And they also have a book launch portal that they're doing for authors. This is going to change the game for people. And those who are poised, and I say packaged and positioned, to take advantage of these opportunities, and who are actually leading the way, they're being the pioneers and the mavericks, you're going to win. You're going to win in ways your impact and your income is going to compound so fast and so quickly. And I'll give you a couple of examples going back to Sony. And I'm so excited to have this conversation. I was like, I couldn't sleep last night because I was so excited. It's like that little kid, when you were young,
yes.
you couldn't wait to play in the morning. I can't wait to play with Steph in the morning. Share that.
Oh my gosh.
And so going back to Sony. So I love Emily Rajkowski. I think she's amazing, but here's a great example. Sony's partnered with Emily Rajkowski on her book. Emily has no list. She does not sell products from her. A relatively no list. Let's say she doesn't have her own email list, right? She's got followers and fans, but she's not monetizing her own platform, not at the extent that all of us are, with our own content, with our own genius, with our own branding, with our own understanding, we've cracked the code that they have not. They have not cracked the code. Neither has Silicon Valley, neither has the entertainment industry. None of these different platforms that we're watching entertainment on, they haven't. The reason why there are massive layoffs is not because of the financial market, it's because they're not innovating. And what are we doing every day? We're innovating. And what are you doing, Steph? You are leading a pack of innovators.
Yeah. And this conversation, I just want to say too, is like, because I know many people might listen to this and think like that's so far away, what from what they're even thinking about. But to bring it down, and I get it, but like this is what I talk about when I say brand. That's what you're saying, is this is brand, this is creation, this is innovation, this is being someone, sharing your work with the world, and you're creating a platform, you're creating an audience, you're creating like that. When brands see you create something like this, they're going to choose you to feature their product, or they're going to choose you to be the head of a talk show, or they're going to bring you on whatever. But it comes from brand, it comes from community, it comes from innovation, and the fact that like Instagram, TikTok, etc., we literally have a tool in our hand to just do it from our home, to just wake up and do it, and that there's a power in that. And then yes, I'll let you respond to this too. The thing that I struggle with is this is so natural for me. So I struggle with, I want to teach people how to create this, but I know that it's natural for me. So how do I teach someone for it to be natural for them? Do you get what I'm saying? Like there's a natural charismatic, the charisma that people have, that's a talent that you were referring to. So it's like, do you think that we can teach people how to do this? Or do you think that there's people who it's like, it's just already in them, or conversations like this can show some people like, oh my God, I have this, and how to leverage it?
Oh my gosh, such a beautiful question, and such a wonderful focus too, because literally you're one conversation away from changing your life. And so that's part number one. If it feels too far outside of your reach, it's just not. It's that same thing that you talk about, Steph, where it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. But you bring it into your field, you bring it into your quantum field, and it just begins to work for you. And there is an energetic around it, for sure. And can you teach people this? Absolutely. In fact, I've been doing it for years. That's my acting expertise, right? Charisma is connection to your soul. Charisma is connection to your soul. It is understanding what I call your genius code, which is deeper and more specific than human design, gene keys, enneagrams, your astrology. You have to dig to know who you are and what you are, more importantly, because those of us who are going to be put in these kinds of positions, and it is going to be, it's not going to require a lot of work. What it's going to require is clarity and specificity. You have to know who and what you are. You're not just a coach. You are a cosmic, galactic being. You have these superpowers that are very specific. This is your genius code. And when you unlock that genius code and you understand exactly who and what you are, that then translates. It's like something unlocks. And in that translation, therein lies your charisma, right? Because you're speaking things and things are coming through you. The expression of the divine through you is so unique and particular that it is magnetizing. It's the work that we're constantly doing, but it's with the addition of that clarity. And so absolutely, I mean, I've seen the most seemingly numb and blank people light the fuck up and become absolutely mesmerizing. Yeah. So yes, you can teach it. And I've spent so much time. I was in a cocoon, a cave for several years, understanding how was I going to take this complexity and make it simple. I knew I didn't have to figure out how to get it out into the world. I knew that if I have the vision, just like everybody here, if you have the vision, there's nothing that can really stop it except you. That's it. Right.
And this is so spot on with how I talk about my journey too, of like, when I started, I had a feeling of like, there's something here, there's something about this, there's something I have to share, and there's a way for me to share it. That's what you're talking about, this very intuitive flow of like coming through you, sharing it on social media, the magic, people can feel it. Like, and that's, you know, and I know that you hear the way that I speak about these things to my audience and my clients as well, as like the term embodiment. So everyone wants to figure out how to do social media better. And for me, that's why the social media conversation is so much more about like, who are you? How can you feel good? How can you feel self-expressed? So what you're talking about, that magnetism, that just like you go and you say something and it comes through and people can feel it. That's the embodiment. There's no strategy, right? That's why people like me, right, or whoever that are super natural at it, you just pick it up because I know who I am. I have clarity. So you pick up the phone, you put it through. You like, it takes you 2 seconds to figure out a new trend because it's not about the trend or the thing. It's I am me, and I know how to translate that through socials. And that's, I think, for some people, the learning curve that you're addressing of like how to really help someone find that to then be able to share extremely powerfully through the modalities that we have.
Yeah, I've gotten it down to about 3 to 6 weeks where I can turn someone into that star.
Well, sign me up, baby.
Yeah. Well, and I want to. I literally saw you being one of my clients. I saw us walking into agencies in Hollywood. You know, my agency in Hollywood was William Morris. That's one of the top 3 agencies in the entertainment industry. And you know, all these relationships and brokering multi-million-dollar deals in my career has helped me get to the point where, and the fact that I have like the best attorneys, the best representation in the industry, and that I'm a bridge between these worlds. And
so what do you say to coaches who are listening to this and they're like, okay, you see this, you see the future, this is what's happening. Like, what do coaches do? Like, what's the step? What is someone who's watching this like, okay, I see this, yes, but like, now what? Like, what is the thing that someone should do based off of what you're sharing?
Reach out to me. And and number two,
I love it.
and number 2, right? What your brand is, and you've said it beautifully and differently than anybody else I've heard, Steph. You've talked about community and connection. You've talked about the emotions that you want people to feel when they interact with you. We're diving deep into these rabbit holes, and we're diving into your genius code, and we're seeing who and what are you really. For example, if people begin to look back and begin to connect the dots on who you are. Like, I am a visionary who's able to take quantum leaps. This is what happens. I always fall up. Like, I'll go through a period and I'll have massive visions. And then boom, I'm pioneering that vision. And in the past, it's interesting because I was in a world of men. I was in a business in a world of men where I was often taken advantage of, which is why I began to learn the street smarts of, because in Hollywood, you're gonna end your career if, you know, like I've had my ideas stolen so many times, and it became about it doesn't matter because they're not me, and I'm still not onto my biggest vision. And right now it's this one, and soon it will be the next one, right? Just like with everybody here. But looking back and seeing how these things come together, like, you know, I was in listening to everybody on the industry, I was like, I'm going to be asked to talk about who I am. And it's like, that's been my fucking hardest challenge, is to describe, you know, who I am as a multi-dimensional being, especially because there's so much duality. There's my age, but then there's my youthfulness, right? And there's my wisdom, and then there's my childlike nature, and then there's my street smarts, and there's my brand of love. Like, you know, I am here to create an impact through love. And when I sat down and I asked, how do I do that? And then this began to form. And I was like, and I believe that that our vision and our mission is a blueprint in our soul. And we put it there before we are incarnated into this body. And it's our job to go in and find this. And so we must ask, you ask, we must ask, we must find. And I believe that we're not meant to do it alone. When you have somebody who's an accurate mirror reflecting back to you who you truly are, that is a homecoming. That is a revelation. That is a rite of passage. And that rite of passage will give you access to superpowers, what I call the divine intelligent operating system. And within that, every answer that you need, every person, place, thing, invitation, opportunity will come to you. We've seen it with Steph. How she says over and over, how did this happen? How did she get to this place? It's goes back to what she said. She knows herself. And so it's knowing yourself, and it's knowing yourself at that super galactic level, and then being able to articulate it in a way that people can really feel, hear, understand, and bite into. And these opportunities, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to clean a couple little things up, and then I'll bring it to a close because I know you've got another guest. But Sony. So Sony put Emily Rajkowski, and and she's got a great message, about she's been assaulted, and she wrote a book about this and about female empowerment. And Sony's going to be coming looking for you. So Emily Rajkowski is not who they really need. And I'm gonna use some other examples. Fidelity had Mindy Kaling on as a guest. I know that they thought that they were connecting with specific generations of people by having Mindy Kaling on as a guest, but come on, do we think of her as a finance expert? No, we don't. And so if I had been curating that panel, I know exactly who I would have chosen to partner with them, because look at all of us. They should be reaching out to us. They should be connecting with us because we have the money, and this is where the power is. And we have the audiences, and we are impacting the lives of the many through the hands of the few. That's how women are going to impact business. Business affects every single part of the world, right? So we've had these unconscious businesses, and now here we are as conscious creators, and we have an opportunity to finally bring into balance with feminine power this world which has been so distorted and pillaged. And that is why I'm here. In the book Power versus Force, David Hawkins says, if 1% of the population vibrated at the frequency, the megahertz, actually you can plug it into the wall, the megahertz of love or above, which is joy and enthusiasm, then we could offset the negative energy of the other 99%. And when I read that, I thought, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. And so I've learned how to compound impact, and I have worked with men and women to finally coalesce this vision so that we can really do that. We know that we're in a critical time in the world. We're not here just to make money from coaching. We're here to use our voices, our authority, our genius, and to laser focus that with high intention, and to take all that we know and put that out into the world as the greatest force there is on this planet. And that is love. And we are creating every day. We have no shortage of content. And so I do encourage people to reach out to me. I believe so strongly in what I'm saying that, heck yeah, I'm going to pitch my fucking self here. And I'm going to pitch you on stepping up, because this thing that is inside of us, and I know it's inside of so many of us women, because we're not sleeping. We're not having regular sleeping patterns. There's like this unrest, there's this unease. And what it is this: you are poised, sister, on a mountain and you're about ready to leap into the cosmos. And that's that unrest. It's that next step. It's that, I'm ready. And
I just want to share this too. And then before we need to move on, but this is for people watching. This is like, and this is why I love you, Jamesine. And this is why it's like, I always say there's so much more than just your coaching business, and people can feel that. It's like, and I think that because it is challenging to articulate or really see what the vision is, people don't like that because they want to see a concrete thing. But what you're speaking about is exactly what I've always felt, is there's so much more. Just go. And I know that this conversation and you sharing this is gonna hit people in their heart to be like, I need to actually step it up now. I can't be keeping myself in this small little box, just worrying about these little problems that don't really matter. Like, show up. It's much bigger than just making money in your coaching business. This is beyond, like you were saying, a new era of celebrity, a new era of Hollywood, a new era of all of these different things. And I think that it's just like, the way that I'm understanding is like, yes, reach out to you, but also like, no more playing it small, no more watering down, no more like little problems of what do I do so people buy. It's like, I am me. I have something to share with the world. I'm going to share it with the device I have in my hand, and just go and build the community, build the brand, be known. This is only where opportunities are just going to start.
Yeah. And I'll give one more piece of specificity. I love what you're saying. I call these your apostles. They are your 12 brand messengers. Think to yourself, which are the 12 brands who are most aligned with my brand? Write them down. Write down the characteristics of each of these brands. Those are characteristics that you have within you. You're magnifying your own inner landscape into these other brands. This is what you're growing into, these things that you see in these other brands. And begin to write your content, including them. And think of yourself, Steph talks about being a CEO and a content creator and what was the other thing? I've forgotten a moment. A coach. Okay. And so, but here is the truth. You are also the head of your own network. And you are the talent on this network. And you are a production studio. And when you begin to add these things to it, and then you are the agency that releases this information. So begin to write content that is of such a high caliber that you begin to tag the brands that those 12 apostles of yours, and watch what begins to happen.
I love that. I love that tip, that tangible tip of like, tag those brands, and that's how those connections happen. I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this. And thank you for being you and being bold and just being like, this is what I see. I'm going to share it because I know how much you believe in this. I see it. I love you. Thank you for being part of the community. So much. And I'm excited for people to connect with you and to hear what you have to say about this, because I've been saying something similar, but you have a way about it that is extremely like your own and unique, and more people need to hear from you and your message. And so please, I don't know if maybe the team can as well, like we can put your Instagram so people know where to go connect with you on socials to really go understand your message and the work that you are doing in this industry.
Thank you. Yeah. And they can go to soulebrity.com too. Soulebrity.
Okay. Soulebrity. I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we're going to shift gears because we do have a time crunch today too. And I want to give everyone the space, but you are amazing. All right.
Thank you. So are you. I love you.
You're so welcome. Yes. so happy. I just had a moment. This will be our little quick in between moment. Jamesine and I know I'm butchering. I can't pronounce. I'm gonna say Trajan. I know that's not how you say it, but these are both year 2 collective people, and I just realized this when I was looking at you guys. So I know that you both know this, but it means the world to me that you don't only do a year 1, but you're both in year 2, and I'm so grateful for you guys. So switching gears, come on up, introduce yourself. I'm so excited because we've never had a one-to-one really dynamic, even though you've been in my world for a whole year. So we get to have this moment together here on the industry. So come on up, introduce yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, how exciting. Hi, I'm so my name is Trajan. Not that hard, I hope. Yeah, so yeah, I was a little bit surprised when the team reached out. I was like, why me? Because I almost never show up live in the programs, and I'm always the one who listens to replays. And so yeah, I was really happy about having this opportunity to talk to you for the first time. And yeah, so I was thinking about the questions and what I want to talk about, and I was like, I know what she's going to say about it, so it's no point asking this question after being in your world.
Because you hear it all from me anyways. You're like, I know what Stuff's going to say.
Yeah, but there are a few things. I think James said something like being in a world of men, and I sometimes have this feeling of being in a world of women, actually, in this kind of a coaching space vibe. And I was really wondering, I mean, is it me? Is it like this bubble that I don't really see like guys doing these things, maybe to the extent that you are doing? I mean, have you noticed something like this, or is it just me? Is it basically thoughts about guys doing this kind of business or this kind of marketing, if you want to say?
Well, what I know, and I only know what I see, is I think that many of the men, or most of the men, have done it a different way. You know what I mean? In the sense of their business model is set up and their marketing is set up in like what I would call like the old school way, right? But I am starting to see more men come into my world. There's now a handful of men in the collective that are interested in the type of business model that I teach and the kind of marketing. But what I do see as happening in the industry is like, and I've been talking about this, and I'm going to talk about it deeper today in the wrap-up program, but like, because of what even Jamesine and I were talking about with brand. So brand now is not the way that it used to be when the coaching industry first started to boom, right? It was like not even brand even wasn't important years ago. So I think many men who started years ago was more of just like set up your marketing, set up your funnels. That's how you build a business. But now it's not even the coaching industry is shifting. It's the world is shifting, where we're building relationships in more of like a feminine energy kind of branding and marketing. So then therefore the sales need to adjust. So in the community that I have and the communities that I'm in, the men that I see are men who either naturally want to go about business in this kind of way, or they learned that the old way doesn't work anymore, and now they're coming to learn sales, marketing, and business in a new way. So I think men are there. They're just potentially just in different niches or different sectors of the industry. But I think that what I would love to see is, because when I scroll on social media, I don't see a lot of male coaches. I see the ones that I have connections with, but I don't see a lot. So I would love to see even just more the men who are in the communities, like, put yourself out there even more, because that will attract more guys. You know what I mean? To like get out there, like be a little bit more out here. We want to see you guys too.
Okay, so maybe the next question is kind of related with the first one, because sometimes you talk about embodiment and how important that is and so on. So in my case, I mean, it's always been like this. Most of the clients are actually female. But my question is, what about when you do not embody what the clients actually want to be like? You know what I mean? Because in your case, most of your clients are women, and you're obviously a woman. So, it's like they see you, but it's not only the marketing. They also see you as a person, your lifestyle and things you're doing. They're like, oh, I want to be that, or I want to be like that. And in my case, it's like, I don't know, I'll have to start like maybe being more strategic, but is that even embodiment?
No, because as soon as you think, what do I do so someone wants to, like, as soon as you go there, you've lost yourself. So instead of thinking about what do I do more, or what should I do, or what should I share more, so then someone likes it or relates, you've lost it. Instead, it should be like, how do you want to be more you in your business? How could you feel more self-expressed? What are other pieces of your life of you do you want to share in your social media just to express you? Done, not so it's a means to an end. Because when it's always a means to an end, it's not going to feel good, right? But then when it's actually you, you're going to attract the people that actually relate to you, that are actually like the soulmate people, and then not like there'll be a mismatch if you think about what do I think people want to see. Then you'll do it. It's not real. It's not going to feel good. And then you'll attract people who don't maybe feel good for you to work with as well. So it's always, but this is why, and I love these conversations so much, is like, it's like, I think people struggle with this because it's a business and there needs to be a strategy. But to me, yes, this is a business and things matter and there is a strategy, but there's no way in hell I'm doing this if I am not completely me, because I cannot do coaching where I'm speaking to people that are unaligned or not the right people. So it's like, it is literally our job to be more us. It is literally our job to find, like, my way of saying this is to find a beautiful, healthy relationship with social media. So you feel like you're one with social media. So it doesn't feel like, what do I say? Or how do I present myself? It's just, I am just me. And you guys feel that from me. So it's like, you don't need to change or be something different. You need to figure out how you can be more you and present it on your socials.
Yeah, that was really something I was thinking about, or maybe became more conscious about it after I met you, because I think I was doing it without like labeling it as embodiment. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, is this really what actually works? I don't know. I was kind of in my head about it.
Yeah. And a lot of people struggle with it because it's like, we want to feel so good, but then we're thinking about how do I make my business work? So then it's like you fight like what feels good versus what do I just do today so it works. And then we fight if those things are out of balance or out of alignment, then it's like, but something feels off because it is. And so that's also why, I mean, this is a different paradigm of business, because it's not just what to do. It's I'm doing what's right and what feels good versus like normal work is just go and do the job and check out. That's not what we're doing here. We're being, we're living, we're expressing who we are and sharing it. So I think that this will be for most people an ongoing journey of figuring out what that looks like. So there is a balance of like, what I'm doing is right and it's working, but I'm not being something that I'm not. So it's an ongoing journey of finding ourselves, like even Jamesine and I were talking about, and being able to like fluidly share that through a screen.
Yeah. Maybe just one more quick question. I was thinking about how, I mean, depending on who you encounter online and who's your mentor, how your business and your life can basically take whole different directions. Because in the beginning, I was actually more into like this more strategic kind of marketing, as you said. But funny enough, I learned that from basically, or most of the time, from other women who were, let's say, before I met you, and this kind of work. So I was thinking, do you think maybe your business or maybe your life would have been different if you, or would have turned into something different if haven't you met your mentor and started doing this kind of work? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, isn't it so crazy to think about? Because it's so like it's so true. And the fact that you say this, it's like you could land on someone on social media today, and because you land on them, your whole life changes. Like that's what happened. That's literally what happened to me. So I don't know if I would be here if I didn't land on when I found Melanie about 5 years ago. Like I'm sure I would have gotten to some kind of version of this. I believe we always find our path. but this trajectory wouldn't have been this if it wasn't for the connections. And it's so crazy. This is just mind blowing of how this is the world today. It takes 1 second, you click on social media and you happen to see someone because of how we're so connected, and our life changes. I mean, but this is the power of the industry. This is not even just the power of the industry, it's the power of the world today. Is like the reason that you can find and fall in love with someone through a dating app is because of the world we live in today. The reason that our life can change because we find a coach on social media, like, is because of the world we live in today. And I think it's so powerful. But the thing that I will also say is, and this is something that I'm passionate about sharing, is we're so connected. And that's why I think we're able to collaborate with each other's magic, but don't lose your own. So that's like, right. So it's like you can go on and scroll and you see a million people like, oh my God, what do I do? They're all amazing. It's take from each person the thing that you're meant to take from each person, but don't decide that you have to be all of them. That's where I think a lot of people struggle. So it's like having discernment and knowing how to actually collaborate with each other, coach with each other, whatever that looks like, have communities, learn from each other, but not lose our own kind of way. And when we can do that, then I think it's very healthy. And that's actually what I think we're meant to do, right? Like I don't want someone to find me and be like, I have to do it exactly like Steph. I want someone to find me and be like, there's pieces about how Steph does it that I'm going to pull and add to my own way. And I think if we can do that as a collective in the coaching industry and in the world in general, then we're really doing some really incredible work.
Yeah.
Do we have something we want to bring up?
Yeah,
we're gonna have something that we bring up for you before we end.
So just
let's go.
So I have, if you can see the screen now, so a little snapshot from your
oh my God
earlier on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to switch this for you. So this is kind of a snapshot of your newer one, and if you notice a little difference, you're a little bit more present more recently in your Instagram than you used to be. So is that something that you decided, was a good move strategically, or is that just something that you decided you felt like being on your Instagram more?
I think it's both. So I was never actually hiding, or I mean, I was always fine with like going live or doing stories and stuff. There was a period when I was a little bit more offline, I mean, I didn't show myself that much, but it's coming back more and more. So yeah, I mean, it's a mixture of both, I would say.
I love it.
Cool.
Sweet.
That's basically it. Just something I noticed.
So good. Well,
yeah,
thank you so much. Thank both of you so much for being on and sharing your energy, your vibe, your questions, your insight with our community. And to everyone watching, I hope you guys have a fabulous day. And a reminder that next week is the last episode of the year. So make sure everyone tune in live. I don't know. I'm just going to tune in live because it's the last episode of the year before the holidays. And as always, please let us know in the comments if you are tuning in. Share where you're from. I love to always go back and read the comments and see the interaction. So I hope you all have a fabulous day, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.